welcome to the Lunch and Learn. As you might have noticed today, I'm on my own. I haven't got Vanessa with me. She normally is on the side here in our other office. But today, Vanessa's off facilitating a one-to-one maths program, rather her than me. So it's just me. So if you're here and you're watching, I'd really appreciate a little comment just to let me know that I'm not on my own. But today we're going to be talking about time management and neurodiversity. And if you work with neurodiverse people, you probably know that time management is one of the areas that does cause a lot of trouble. It does cause a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues. And there are some reasons for that we're going to look at. And then there are some things that you can do. We're going to get to those at the end. So we're going to start off just by looking at our Remarkable Minds definition of what neurodiversity is, because that kind of sets the scene for what we're going to be talking about. So neurodiversity refers to a variation in the human brain regarding sociability, learning, attention, mood, and other mental functions. So as you can see, oh, hi, thank you so much for giving me some messages. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm talking to myself. So anyway, getting back to the definition, as you can see, it affects all areas of life. So often we think about neurodiversity, dyslexia, ADHD, ASD as affecting very specifically learning challenges. But as we know, that neurodiversity actually doesn't go away when you leave school. It stays with you for life, and it affects all areas of life, including sociability, learning, attention, mood, and other mental functions. So it's a far-reaching condition that affects everything in life. And I just want to quickly say that we use the term neurodiversity because that is Vanessa's preferred term. She is a neurodiverse one in our partnership. I'm neurotypical. She's ADHD and dyslexic, and she prefers the term neurodiversity, and so that's the term that we use. You'll often hear neurodivergent, or maybe even neurospicy, or if you know of any other terms that you've heard, just let me know in the comments what terms you've heard. But we use the term neurodiversity because that's the one that Vanessa prefers. So if you've been to any of our stuff before, you'll know that neurodiversity is a cognitive difference. It is actually a difference in the way that the brain processes information. And we've got here a couple of little slides, which if you've been to some of our things before, you might already have seen. On the right-hand side with the yellow circle, you can see the area of the brain that an ordinary reader, so someone like me, uses to process information when they're reading. And you can see the blue circle is the area that a capable dyslexic reader uses when they're reading information, but also when they're processing the whole of the world. And on the left-hand side, the beautiful one with the magenta and the teal, you can see a neurotypical brain processing what it hears, which is the blue, compared to what it sees, which is the pink, versus an ASD brain. So as we can see, the neurodiverse brain is much more wired to process the world visually rather than in any other way, specifically with reading. And so, as I was saying before, I'm trying to control two screens here, so excuse me if I look a little bit confused sometimes. As I was saying before, neurodiversity affects all areas of life. So we often think that dyslexia is just trouble with reading, writing, and spelling, because we really experience neurodiversity, dyslexia, ADHD in a learning environment, first of all, as being a place where it might cause some struggles. Often by the time neurodiverse people get into the workplace, they might be pretty good at hiding what's going on for them. And so we do tend to think of neurodiversity as being something that's affecting really reading, writing, and those learning challenges. But if we look at the underneath the iceberg, we can see here that actually these are some of the other areas that people that are dyslexic will also be struggling with. But they might not actually be able to show that these are the areas that they struggle with, but it is still going on. And likewise, the screen itches again. Likewise, ADHD is not just fidgeting or being unable to focus. It's actually all of these other things as well that are below the surface. And again, these are often things that neurodiverse people or an ADHD person wouldn't necessarily be really great at showing, but it's what's going on internally that really matters. So you can see that there's a lot going on for a neurodiverse person. So most neurodiverse people actually really struggle with executive function. So you've probably heard the term executive function. What is it? It's actually all of the things, all of the areas of life that as adults we're kind of expected to be really good at. So you can see here there's emotion and impulse control, working memory, initiation, focusing, hindsight and foresight, and time awareness. So these are areas of particular struggle for neurodiverse people. And there's a lot under them. There's a lot of things that come under them and a lot of sort of different areas under these headings. But these are kind of like the big areas that neurodiverse people struggle with. And time awareness is the one that we're kind of looking at today, isn't it? Because we're looking at time management, being able to manage your time. So thinking visually and thinking with your creative imaginative brain, which is, as we've just seen, is the way that the neurodiverse brain prefers to think, is really great for creating ideas and for creating unique solutions. But actually it's really, really not great for dealing with sequential information or concepts. The neurodiverse brain is a really big picture thinking brain, and I think I'm going to go into that a little bit more later, but it really does not process the world sequentially at all. So the issues with time are not to do with telling the time. Dyslexic people or ADHD people, they can usually tell the time.